Hello, everybody. Lewis, Norwich City Central. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to another Norwich City Central show, live, of course. Hello to everyone watching on Catch Up. I hope you're all doing well. If you want to watch this live, comment live, and just say hi. Of course, turn on the notification bell. But yeah, in this episode today, I think we're just me and Duka have. We've done a few of these episodes, Duka, but I think today we're just going to be going with the vibes. Obviously, we haven't got a game to talk about and seeing kind of what comes up. How have you been, mate?
Been busy at work and getting ready to go back to uni. But loving life still. Obviously, Norwich come back at the weekend, so always got something to look forward to now. Buzzing for Arsenal away. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm a little bit drained, I can't lie. And I think we've both kind of said that off screen, but we're looking forward to talking about Norwich, and I'm sure some of your kind of comments are going to get me going again, like last week, Duka. Talking about Azerbaijan away, that's going to get me going, Duka.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, Azerbaijan away, we've got Cyprus away, 2 weeks out there. Yeah, I'm buzzing for it on the European tour.
But we're going to be going through all that. I mean, in this live stream, we've got some topics to talk about which we're really interested. We're going to be going through Norwich's best XI. Of course, when you look at this Norwich City team, there's actually there's very few players who are actually nailed on starters. So it's going to be fascinating to see what your best team is, Duka, and we'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. We're also going to be talking about the Buendia bizarre situation going on in Brazil, some of the internationals, and then finishing with Arsenal away. But of course, if there's any questions in the chat, please feel free to put them in and we will get to them. But no, Duka, 3 games into the season. It's not been a great start, but we was talking about the transfer window last week. It was an exceptional transfer window for Norwich, and one that I think that we know we're a much better squad kind of going into this season now. And it almost feels like our season properly starts away at Arsenal.
Well, yeah, you can tell we've got a better squad because we're now going to be discussing, who's going to be be starting, who deserves to be starting, who's our best player. If you've got these headaches, you know how strong your squad, how strong your squad is. And quite frankly, Norwich City have a very, very strong squad this season. It's just about, I know, Ipswich fans like to use this phrase a lot, but it's just how quickly they gel. Come in, and it's just about getting them just bedded into the Premier League as quickly as possible and getting them as comfortable as possible in Daniel Farke's philosophy as well. And hopefully we can just kick on from Arsenal away. Obviously, we'll definitely win. If we don't win, it's I expect at least 3 goals scored, none conceded. Aubameyang's just a poor man's, Nicky Maynard.
I don't even know who that is, mate.
Championship hero, mate. He's a championship hero. But honestly, I'm just confident going into the weekend. Absolutely buzzing. Transfer window's been fantastic. We've got all the players in. I just want to get into it now. The window's ended and we haven't even been able to see Kabak or Norman play yet in the Norwich shirt. So
that energy is getting me going, Duka. And what really annoys me about the Premier League, I mean, of course, in the Championship, it's Saturday, Tuesday, Tuesday, Saturday, pretty much for the whole season. I mean, and I know this is the same for this Championship, but what I really don't like is you start the season, you're a few games in, you're excited, and then you've got an international break. And then it's another few games, then it's an international break. It's just a stop-start, and you're looking forward just to seeing, Kabak coming in and just absolutely clattering Aubameyang. I think that's what, as football fans, we're all here for, aren't we?
I think it's what every single fan, apart from Arsenal fans, are all here for. They can't wait to see Kabak absolutely just clatter Aubameyang. But no, going into the weekend, we've lost 3 games. Okay, we've lost 3 games. We've seen an abysmal performance at Man City. We haven't seen us at our best yet. We've seen lackluster performances in places. Yet, how comes Norwich fans are so confident going into the weekend? It just shows that how good of a window we've had and how set up we are going into the season. We've got everything we need now. We've got all the resources in place. It's just about staying up or getting to Europa League, Cyprus away. I'm just living on the vibes, mate, at the minute. But
yeah. Good evening to everyone. I hope you're all doing very well. I think this is a good opportunity then to talk about Norwich's best XI and what we're kind of thinking of, because when you look at a lot of teams, I think every 3 or 4 years you kind of have a big transition, and it's almost like in football, every I want to say 4 or 5 years, a whole squad kind of gets overhauled. And I feel like it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I feel like this is the season where everything's changed. I think you're looking at a new formation, a new style of play. Daniel Farke's kind of it's been quite drastic in the changes. We've released how many, like 20, 25 players, obviously
players.
bought 11 players in. It's been absolutely chaotic. So, there's been lots of changes, a lot of transition. And I think it'll be interesting to hear about your best XI and mine as well. And obviously, we'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. I mean, I think we've got to start with a goalkeeper, and that is one of the nailed-on starters, Tim Krul. He's just got better and better in a Norwich City shirt, mate, hasn't he?
Is it a certain starter? Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, that is. I was going to go with Mickey McGovern, safe hands Mickey, but
good, Mickey.
Tim Krul just edges it. No, but like you say, Tim Krul is like fine wine. He just, with age, he just becomes better. Being Dutch myself, I do love him. I just absolutely love him to pieces. He is, he's a national hero for what he done in the 2014 World Cup. Single-handedly taking Holland into the World Cup semi-finals that year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then, he's now an absolute penalty merchant with us. But also, in game, he saves us. He pulls out big saves in games that are match-winning saves. If we were a better team, and could put our chances away as well. Tim Krul is a nailed on starter and has to be. Obviously, Angus Gunn, I believe, is the future of Norwich City. He will be our number one come 3-4 years time when Tim Krul does inevitably retire. He is aging. Yes, he's getting better, but nothing good lasts forever, unfortunately. But it has to be Tim Krul.
Yeah, definitely. Afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Very positive ahead of Arsenal. 2-0 away win for me. I'm looking forward to that. Of course, Ducker will both be going, and hopefully we'll be seeing goals and Arsenal tears. Kobe the Kane. To be honest, boys, I don't expect us to win at Arsenal, but we'd be happy with a point. I completely agree on the topic of Tim Krul, mate. As you've said, he's getting better with age. I mean, some of the saves he made in the Championship last season was absolutely remarkable. We're talking about our best XI now. Formation is very important. I'm going to go with the 4-3-3 just because I think that's what Farke is going to play. We've seen it in all the games so far this season and also in the cup game against Bournemouth. Are you also going with a 4-3-3 before we get into it, mate?
Now, so this is the thing. Obviously, you've asked me to pick my best 11, and now that also involves picking the best formation to fit that best 11. Okay. Is that 4-3-3? Yeah, no, I think it is. I think it is a 4-3-3. But I'm just struggling to fit a few players in here. It's really, really. I'm now trying to think about it, and there's a few people aren't going to be happy.
It's going to be a difficult one. Jack Bailey, thanks for coming into the live stream. I hope you're doing well. Do you think Kabak and Norman need to start to get points against Arsenal? Well, I mean, we're going to be going through our best XI. It's going to be really interesting to see though whether Kabak and Norman do play against Arsenal. Of course, Kabak and Norman both on international duty, won't have too much time to gel. Me and Ducker, of course, will be saying whether they're in our best XI, but it'd be interesting to see whether they play against Arsenal. Do you think they will, Ducker, both of them?
I'll wait till I get on to the centre back and midfield positions to voice my opinion on it. But yeah, I'll say it then. I'll keep quiet.
Definitely. Lots of comments coming in. Thank you everyone for them. Gollins, I love the fact we're spoiled for choice in midfield. Yeah, but I think that's the one which is going to be most difficult to crack is the midfield battle. There we go. Thanks for joining the stream, mate. Good luck coding the midfield battle. Let's start with the defence though, and that back four. We've seen a few suggestions of Daniel Farke possibly going to a back five or back three. I don't see that happening. Maybe possibly in-game management, but certainly not from the start. So my back four. Do you want to go first, Edgar, or do you want me to go?
Do you want to go position by position? Add that bit of intense to bit.
Yeah, I love that. Let's go with right back then.
Right back.
Real tension. Let's build the tension. Who's going to be Norwich's right back this season? Who's
Byron? No. Has to be Max Aarons, hasn't it? There's no other choice. he speaks for himself. You know, performances he's put in since he's come in and made his debut. You know, you can't say no to Max Aarons at right back, can you?
Definitely. The centre back positions is now the really interesting one. The best Norwich XI for centre backs for me, I'm going to go with Kabak and Ben Gibson.
Oh, I think I'm gonna turn a few heads here. I think we'll see the centre half pair. I don't know.
You've got to go with the best Norwich XI for Daniel Farke. And of course, there's lots of players for different positions, different games. But what is the best Norwich XI we've got?
See, I'm seeing Kabak Hanley, Kabak Gibson. I was going to say, there's a comment. Kabak Omobamidele.
Oh, you're not doing it, are you? Wow.
I think I might. Yeah, no, I might. I'm going to say Kabak and Omobamidele.
That is a shout from you. There's a few comments.
Yeah. Yeah. I really, I do think. I mean, it's harsh on Grant Hanley. I was torn between Omobamidele and Grant Hanley. I think Gibson was a bit off the pace against Leicester and looked a bit off the pace, obviously, against Man City and Liverpool, but who didn't in those games. Obviously, Grant Hanley's been the better of the two. Not that you can really say anyone's been good. But I just feel like Omobamidele he just impresses me every time he plays. Obviously, he's young. He's gonna have a mistake in him. That is understandable. But his composure on the ball for someone who's 19 years old is incredible. You know, he wears his heart on his sleeve when he plays football. He's, you know, no nonsense. I think he's great. I think in terms of our best lineup right now going into Arsenal, not what I think our best lineup could be in half a season time. I think I'm gonna go with Hanley and Kabak.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's a really interesting one. I think, firstly, on Kabak, I mean, the majority of comments, I think everyone's put Kabak in. And look, we haven't actually seen him play yet, but in terms of the profile of the player, was excellent for Liverpool. And of course, as someone who's young, so much potential. He's yet again one of those signings, and there's a few of them we've bought in who could easily, in a 2 or 3 years' time, go for, like, you know, we're talking 30, 40 plus. So, yeah, Kabak's a no-brainer. And yeah, it's just such an interesting one, as you say. I think Andrew Omobamidele now, would he come into that best XI? I'm not so sure, but certainly in half a season, it's a shout. And as one of the comments said, Andy Omobamidele was absolutely exceptional against Portugal. Comes on in the 30th minute. And, you know, and we're not just saying it. Yes, it's against Portugal, one of the best teams, you know, in the world. But he really did have an amazing game, particularly against Cristiano Ronaldo as well. Made a brilliant block at the end, and they were so unlucky to lose that game, Ireland.
When we do play Man United, stick Omobamidele in. Ronaldo's pocketed. Bruno Fernandes, he's pocketed, and we'll win the league.
Yeah, that's very. I mean,
that comment there. Yes. He
just looks like someone who's got better positioning as well, doesn't he? Much better positioning.
Better everything. And this is the thing. Ben Godfrey obviously was converted from a midfielder into the centre half, so effectively it wasn't his natural position at all. But at the same time, Omobamidele just looks a whole different class better. Yeah, when Ben Godfrey was his age, and Ben Godfrey kind of broke into the first team, was on the fringes a bit, didn't look as composed, as strong, as physical as what Omobamidele looks now.
Yeah, I mean, this is such an interesting one in terms of that centre back position. Who would you give the armband to? Who's the second choice? I'm trying to think who it would be. Tim Krul, I guess.
Yeah, I'd have to give it to Tim Krul right now, because if I say I'm going to give it to someone in the midfield or the attacking areas, I then give it away.
They might not be in there.
Yeah, I'll give it to Tim Krul for now.
Yeah, maybe even Norman, a future captain, who knows? But yeah, in terms of the centre back position, it is a really difficult one. Of course, Ben Gibson is someone who's probably got the best passing out of the three. It's just a really, really difficult one to know. And I love Ducker, how you've mentioned Andy, you've mentioned Grant Hanley for now, and I've mentioned Ben Gibson. I really think that centre back partnership is up for grabs, and I feel like we should do the best XI together. Who are we putting in there, Ducker? Or no, let's do them separately. So I'm going to go, Ben Gibson.
Otherwise, it's going to be torn between Hanley and Gibson. It's just going to. But
yeah,
at the same
well,
time,
we'll be having a virtual fight as well, Ducker. So we don't want that.
Exactly. But at the same time, the fact that we're naming 4 centre halves that could easily play in the Premier League and on their day can perform, it just shows how far we've come from naming Ibrahim Amadou as a centre half.
But do you not think we're getting too excited too early on Amabamidele? He's only played 7 or 8 games. Okay, yes, he was brilliant in the internationals. Are we getting too excited too early?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I'm playing that. I'm not.
I'm buzzing about Amabamidele. I think he's so good, and he's also a leader on the pitch as well. At such a young age, he's such a leader. He's got such a strong character about him.
Yeah. There's an intelligence there at such a young age as well. But yeah, kind of to finally end the centre-back position from my perspective, Amabamidele definitely towards the end of the season could play a major part. I totally agree. In terms of Gibson and Hanley at the moment, it's a tough one. Look, Grant Hanley was the second best player of the season for Norwich, and he deserves that as well. He was my second best player of the season. I just think going into this Premier League season, yes, Grant's a leader on the pitch. Yes, he's more aggressive. But I've just statistically, I just think Ben Gibson's someone who could bring that leadership, and I just think Ben Gibson might just pip it for Grant Hanley in terms of that best XI. And Ducker, how are you finalising that kind of best XI centre back position?
Slabhead, Turkish Maldini. Enough said.
Yeah, brilliant. We've got another defensive position to talk about as well.
This is going to start some debate. Right,
left back. And what's brilliant about this, though, Ducker, is that it's brilliant to have these headaches. It's brilliant to have these headaches where, look, of course, our squad is still poor in terms of the Premier League comparisons. You know, we're not a top 10 side, but it's really nice. It's really nice to have this competitive nature.
You're right about. We're top 4. Nah, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Should we say this one at the same time? Brandon Williams or Giannoulis?
Well, could there be a third party? We did say Seamus Lapalheta play there in pre-season.
Where's the left back?
Yeah, he could play left wing back for a couple of games in pre-season, I think. So yeah.
Should we say at the same time, Ducker?
All right, let's do it.
Go on. 3, 2, 1. Giannoulis.
Yeah, Giannoulis. Yeah. Has to be for me. I'm just loyal to him because we've seen him play already half the season with Norwich. I think he knows the club a lot better, knows Farke's philosophy a lot better. I think his defensive play will improve. He's still young, Dimmy is. And I do think he'll come good defensively. Going forward, obviously, we've seen what he can offer against Liverpool. He was fantastic. He was our man of the match. And yeah, I feel like we're being a bit too harsh on Dimmy. Obviously, when we're playing Man City, of course he's going to struggle. And obviously, he did have a poor game. But when we do play the sides like Arsenal, like Watford, who are relegation fodder, we've got to start an attacking fullback because we need someone who's going to expose them and expose them down the flanks. Because obviously, when we've got Sargent in the box, so we looking for them headers. You need fullbacks getting forward, whipping them balls in, and Giannoulis is exactly that sort of player.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it is a really tough one between the two. And when we signed Brandon Williams, there was a little bit of talk and a little bit of confusion, of course, that, we're using one of those 2 loans on Premier League players for a guy like Brandon Williams. And I think he's going to improve the squad massively. I like the fact that he can play right back as well in case Max Aarons gets injured or, anything was to happen to him. So I think it is a really tough one between Williams and Giannoulis, but I just think Giannoulis is, he's a few years older, and I just think he's slightly better than him. I think Giannoulis is a Greek international who's done so well, and from the performances I've seen so far, I think Brandon Williams is good, but I think Giannoulis just pips it. But I think it's one of those again where I think either one of those two I'd be happy at the moment.
Exactly. If he just starts, we're not disappointed. And exactly what's said here. Obviously, we know. It depends on the opposition who we're playing against. If we're coming up against a top 4 side, obviously, from what we know, Williams is more of a defensive side of left back, whereas Giannoulis is more an attacking left back. So it depends on the side you play. If you do play relegation fodder, such as Arsenal, you are going to want to start Giannoulis. If you are playing, top 4 candidate, you're gonna start Brandon Williams.
What did you think of Brandon Williams on his Premier League debut for Norwich against Leicester?
Started poorly. Started very poorly. Obviously, gave the ball away, and it led to the goal. But from then on in, he and what Gollins was the guy who came on my channel, and the video will be out after this podcast. We rounded up the transfer and they talk about all the transfers and what he said about
in the description.
Yeah, link is in the description. But the thing is, what he said about Brandon Williams, what is fantastic. What he said is that Brandon Williams can rectify his mistakes. After he, was at fault for the goal, he didn't put a foot wrong that whole game. He was fantastic.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one, and yeah, as we said, I think we're both happy with either. I think they both offer the same things, but also slightly different in terms of the way they operate. But I think Giannoulis just pips it for me, just because. And look, he, in my opinion, he was man of the match against Liverpool. Okay, he put in a poor performance against Man City, but none of the players really came out with their head too high. So, yeah, Brandon Williams, I like the look of him. I think he is aggressive. He is aggressive. I still think there's things he needs to iron out in this game, but I just think Giannoulis for me is just a little bit more of a complete player at the moment. But yeah, Williams hasn't had the time yet, probably to have a consistent run. So that's my back four. I'm going with Aarons, Gibson, Kabak, and Giannoulis, and you're going with Grant Hanley in there. But Omobamidele is a strong shout.
He's a strong shout, yeah. He is a strong shout. Midfield. We're both going 4-3-3, aren't we?
So, we're both going 4-3-3. I think that's what Farke's going to do. This is a difficult
two
one.
Holding midfielders and the two number 8s, basically. So,
well, there's 3 in there, Ducker. So we need. It all depends what way we want to do it.
Holding, I'm guessing 2 sort of further forward players.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Right, who's going first? Do you want me to go first?
Do you want to say the 3 names and then I'll go for mine? And yeah, guys, if you want to put in your comments, what is going to be this midfield enigma? How is Daniel Farke going to solve this?
Now, I think we in the midfield, what we need is an absolute brute, a shit house, someone who's going to absolutely spark someone out 10 minutes into his debut, get sent off, type of player. So I'm going to go. So the first name on my team sheet is Matthias Norman. In the midfield, without a shadow of a doubt. We need a centre defensive midfielder. We've got one. And now the 2 in midfield, and they need to complement each other. You need someone both of them need good range of passing. One can offer something defensively as well as going forward, and one can offer a lot more going forward, long range shots, and clever through balls. And the 2 that I'm going to pick in that midfield, those 2 more advanced midfield positions is Pierre Lees-Malou and Billy Gilmore.
Interesting shout there. Interesting shout. Lots of comments coming in. Thank you to BG Swab. Love the name. Gilmore and Norman with Campbell in there. Very interesting. Maybe Campbell in that central role. Alex McLean, Norman Gilmore. Jack Bailey, Norman Gilmore, Lees-Malou.
He's a
I watched Norman play for Norway. He was very defensive and better than Odegaard, so we are beating Arsenal easy. Yeah, I mean,
speaks absolute facts. Although he's dropped Billy Gilmore. I'm not happy.
Really tough one. My 3 names, I'm just going to say them. Norman, without a shadow of a doubt, central defensive midfielder. Yeah, really highly rated. I think he's just the type of player Norwich need. Billy Gilmore, he got man of the match in Scotland. Okay, it's not hard to get man of the match if you're a Scottish player, but in that slightly advanced forward position, I thought Billy Gilmore looked a lot better, and I think that is his position with someone who's a central defensive midfielder. And this is the one which is really tough because I've seen obviously a lot of comments, and I think the majority do say Norman and Billy Gilmore, and I think for me, I think Lucas Rupp and Sorensen aren't obviously going to be in that first team. So I think it's Pierre Lees-Malou or Kenny McLean as that kind of other midfielder. I am going to go for Pierre Lees-Malou. I think just pips it. But Kenny McLean has been so underrated. He was so underrated in the Championship, and I loved, he technically scored against Leicester, and I love what he did against Bournemouth. So it's a really tough one, but I would just go Norman Gilmore, Pierre Lees-Malou.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so difficult. And the fact is, Kenny deserves a spot. There's no shadow of a doubt. Kenny McLean deserves a spot. But you've got so much quality in the midfield at Norwich. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult.
It's a really tough one. I think firstly, let's go on to Norman. We've kind of mentioned he's the exact player we need. Excellent. I think a lot of Norwich City fans probably saw him play for the first time against Norway, and he was very good. Broke up the play well. Yeah, exactly the type of player we need. Billy Gilmore, I think also has to be a first team player, a first team starter. We've seen just how well he's done for Chelsea, whether that's been playing in Europe or the FA Cup. And then the other name, obviously Pierre-Lise Malou, Kenny McLean, it's probably between those two. But I think Pierre-Lise Malou is someone who has come in to help improve the squad, and I think he does. I think he offers a lot of different attributes. I think he's a very well-rounded player. I think Kenny McLean is also very well-rounded, but I think with that midfield, I think Kenny McLean and Billy Gilmore, particularly Kenny McLean, I just think he's a little bit too much of a floater in there. And I think you'll need that a bit of physicality, need that drive. I really like Kenny McLean. I really, really do. But I wonder whether there's too many floaters in there. With someone like Pierre-Lise Malou, someone who's probably a better ball carrier, gives you a little bit more in terms of his all-round attributes, I'd probably go with Lise Malou.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I think Lise Malou just kind of, you get into an attacking area and you can trust him to play the right pass in that attacking area. Kenny McLean, he's not really someone to play that killer pass, so to speak. He's not really known for, cutting a defence open with his free balls and whatnot. Whereas Lise Malou is.
But yet again, it gives you that competition, because if Pierre-Lise Malou, is not at it, then he knows his position's going to be up, and Kenny McLean can come in and do really well.
Same with Billy Gilmore.
Yeah,
and that's been said in the comments. If we don't start Gilmore, if Gilmore doesn't play well and does get dropped for Kenny McLean, Chelsea might get angry. But
that's what you want. You want players on their toes, don't you? It was I think 2 years ago. It was. I mean, our squad is so much better now, and you want players on their toes. You want there to be a real competitivity, and I think that's what Farke's done, and I think that's why this transfer window has been one of the best in many years from a Norwich City perspective.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's been fantastic. And the fact is, our squad isn't thin; it's thick. You've got cover in every area. You've got competition, and actual competition in every area now. So, yeah, no, I'm buzzing. But should we get to the front three? Because I think this is going to spark some debate.
I mean, all the positions have sparked debate really, except for Timmy Krul.
I think the front three is really going to spark some debate.
Yeah, it's a really difficult one. Because obviously you've got those two attacking players. I mean, on the left, I think in many people's views, on the left you've got Christoph Julis and Todd Cantwell. On the right, you've got Rashita, you've got Dow. Of course, all these players can interchange, and then up front, you've got the Pookie, you've got Josh Sargent, you've got Adam Eder. But yet again, there's lots of interchangeability. So, guys, we'd love to hear your thoughts down below on that attacking three. What is Norwich's best attacking three? Duka, do you want to start, mate?
So on the right, I'm going to go with Milo Rashica. I think
same here.
He's a fantastic start to the season. Looked really lively. Wants to get at defenders. Put Simicast on his arse. Was a very huge fan of that. And against Man City, he had our best chance of the match and looked like the only one who was who had an attacking threat. And even against Leicester, obviously got the Man of the Match award for a very good reason, because he was our biggest threat. So you can't, Rashica is probably our best winger at the minute. I'd say so. On the left, it's really difficult, because either way you're dropping one of the sort of star talents in our squad. Either way here, and for me,
that's a good problem to have, though, as we mentioned.
To have, and I think you've got to look at it this way: which one is going to have more of an impact starting, and which one's going to have more of an impact coming off the bench? So for me, starting on that left-hand side is going to be Todd Cantwell.
Right.
I think coming off the bench, Christos Solis is going to have a huge impact. 60th minute, Kieran Tierney's legs are in, they're in bits. You bring on the absolute beast that is Christos Solis, and how's he going to cope? But I think, you've got to start Cantwell. I think, Todd Cantwell technically is probably our best player based on technical ability. His attacking flair, his ability to create something out of nothing, it's fantastic, and you can't disrespect that. And I think a lot of Norwich fans do disrespect that, and I think that isn't fair at all. Cantwell, he's a fantastic player, and we will see that this season, and I reckon we could see it on Saturday. So Cantwell on the left for me, and up front, I'm going to upset some faces. I'm going to upset so many faces right now. Up front for me has to be Josh Sargent.
Right.
I think he's just more of an upgraded version of Pukki at the minute. I really do think he is. A lot of people disagree, but look, his stats in the Bundesliga weren't great, and people were kind of saying, "Oh, why have we paid such a high price for him then?" Right. Okay. We've got to trust the recruitment system here. If they're paying such a high price, they know something that we don't. Josh Sargent, that's right. Okay, look, I can dream. I'm dreaming about Europe, and I can dream about the fact I can make it something in the 60th minute. Both probably won't happen, but I can dream. But anyway, carrying on to the Josh Sargent topic. But obviously, we'll pay such a high price for Josh Sargent, so obviously, Webber and Farke know what he can offer. And I think he's a very similar player to Teemu Pukki, but just is a bit more powerful, a little bit more aggressive, a bit more physical, a bit quicker, a bit taller. And just overall, I think he's just going to be a bit better than Teemu Pukki. And people can disagree with me, and I may be completely wrong. But from what I've seen of Josh Sargent at the start of the season, and from what I've seen of Teemu Pukki at the start of the season, Josh Sargent takes it for me, and by some distance as well.
Yep, we're going to disagree a little bit here, Dicker. And I'm looking forward to putting the debate out there. On the right, I think you've got Kieran Dow, who could play as an inverted winger, but for me, Milos Rashica has been Norwich's probably best player. I mean, it's not saying too much, but probably our best player in the opening 3 games. Looks direct. I like his dribbling, and he's someone who kind of likes to get the crowd off their feet. On the left, Todd Cantwell or Christos Julis. Yet again, with the left back situation, I'm really happy to see whether that be Giannoulis or Williams, and I'm happy with either one of those 2 players. And I think it depends on the type of game. But in terms of what I think Norwich's best XI is, I'm going Christos Julis. And I completely agree on a lot of those points. Todd Cantwell, I think, is underappreciated by a lot of the fans. I think Todd Cantwell is still going to have a major part to play this season. I saw someone say maybe Todd Cantwell playing in that number 10 position. That definitely could happen, if Norwich City do decide to open up and go more attacking. And Todd Cantwell is someone who I'm sure is going to have a big part to play in the Premier League. But in terms of Norwich's best XI, Christos Julis, £10 million. You just saw the glimpses against Bournemouth, just how good he's going to be. Lightning pace, someone who's got so many brilliant technical attributes. Look, don't get me wrong, against Arsenal, I'd play Todd Cantwell. But in terms of Norwich's best XI going forward, I think Christos Julis is the player. And up front, I'm sticking with Teemu Pukki. I like those comments, Dick. I like them. I think we've bought Josh Sargent in for £9 million, and that is a real statement of intent. He is a little bit taller than Pukki. He's a little bit quicker. He's probably a little bit more physical, probably gets himself about a little bit more. But I still think Pukki is the talisman for Norwich for at least another year. I think next season paves the way for Josh Sargent to be definitely a first-team starter. But Teemu Pukki hasn't had the best starts for Norwich, and yet again, I wouldn't be opposed to dropping him. But for me, I still think he is Norwich's best striker. We haven't seen too much of Josh Sargent, and from what I have, I like it. But Teemu Pukki still 11 goals in the Premier League. I just think he's someone who still offers so much from a Norwich City perspective, and I would still go with Teemu Pukki, the GOAT, of course.
No, it's completely fair. It's the same what you've said. If Zolis starts, I'm not going to be disappointed, am I? If Pukki starts, I'm not going to be disappointed. Like, it's just fantastic. We've got so much choice to choose from, and so much quality players to choose from as well. And
this is what we're saying. After a few bad games, that it's there's only a few nailed on starters off the top of my head. Norman, Max Aarons, Tim Krul. There's so many places up for grabs, and that's exactly what you want. But for me, yeah, I think the left side is going to be fascinating. But I think a combination of Dimitri Giannoulis and Christoph Julis is going to be absolutely brilliant, mate.
100%. Yeah, no, I think it would be. But against Arsenal, I don't know if Christos Solis will start. I don't know if Norman's going to start or Kabak are going to be thrown in.
I don't think Jolis will start, and I'm not even sure Kabak will. But yeah, in terms of the best XI, they're the ones I'd go for.
100%. Yeah, no, without a shadow of a doubt. And hopefully we can see either of our teams, our best starting 11s play on Saturday, because then at least we know we're probably going to get a 5-0 win, a all-inclusive trip to Cyprus at the end of the season when we get into the Europa League because Delia treats us. And yeah, it's going to be great times.
Let's see some of the names. We've got Cantwell, Jolis, and Rashika. No striker there. That's interesting. Maybe Jolis
play as a false 9 or a number 9. Yeah. He can play there, but again, that's not his preferred position. I don't. In the Championship, I can see that working because getting him behind defences, that's going to work. But in the Premier League, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how it'll work.
Jack Bailey, Campbell at number 10 could easily do that. So yeah, Rashika, Pookie, and Jolis.
And again,
yeah,
you're going to play. If you're going to play number 10, you're dropping either Billy Gilmore, Pierre-Lise Malou, or Matthias Norman in our case. So again, he just throws in so many good headaches to have.
Yeah, I like that front three as well. Definitely not against Sargent starting. I think there's so much potential there, and I'm sure he's going to go on and do amazing things at Norwich. Cantwell has not been on his game yet. I'd probably agree with that.
But we know his ability, and we know his ability to create something out of simply nothing.
Now here's one, Ducker. Alex has said Adamida up top for me. Now we're talking about Ireland. Omar Bamidele had an exceptional game against Portugal.
Played really
Man the match performance.
Yeah. Ireland didn't have really the greatest international break, did they, so far? But Adamida's been that shining light for him at the minute. He's led the line really, really well as a lone striker, and it's good practice for him because obviously if he does come into that starting 11 at Norwich, he's going to be leading that line himself. And he's definitely an option because when he came on against Liverpool, he looked hungry, looked aggressive. And it's the first time you saw Van Dijk and Matip under a bit of pressure and, kind of not, they were a bit nervous. He made them nervous. And we didn't see that from Teemu Pukki. And Adamida done that. So it just shows that Adamida could, I'm not against it. Do I think he's good enough at the minute? I don't know. Not as good as Sargent or Pukki, but, definitely not against it.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, I mean, I'm happy to be wrong, mate. It's so hard to know the best XI, and that's what's really exciting. I think, as I said early on in the video, every 4 or 5 years, a club has a major transition, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. And I feel like we've had a transition in the style of play, formation, players coming in, and it's a positive transition because we're properly going to give the Premier League a go. And predicting a best XI is so hard, and that's what's made this live stream really enjoyable from our perspective. Zolis needs to start at some point so we can see him against Premier League opposition, of course. He is a Norwich legend, but he's off the pace. I imagine that's talking about Teemu Pukki. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see Sargent play. Ida works better holding up the ball, and he's better to get on the end of Rashika's balls. Yeah, and that's another thing, isn't it? It's so hard to know how we're going to play.
Exactly, it's going to be very, very difficult. I don't think a hold-up striker is kind of Farke's sort of style of play. He likes someone who's going to make those tricky runs off defenders and play on the shoulder sort of thing. So Adamida and Sargent can both do that, but they can also offer that different sort of dimension where they can hold up the ball and allow the quicker wingers in Rashica and Zolis to get beyond. It does offer that. And I think that's what's really clever with the transfer window we've had. We've brought in players who can, I guess, kind of suit different dimensions of the game at the minute, especially in the attacking areas. We can play with a big man up top and a hold-up play. We can play, balls in behind, play those intricate runs that we have done with Teemu Pukki for the past 3 years. So, it's really, really clever how we've, the players that we've brought in and how they're going to suit different styles of play depending on the opposition we face and what we're going to need to defeat that opposition.
Yeah, exactly. And finally, on the best XI, I want to finish with this idea. Yeah, again, talk about formation. Could we play with two forwards? A 4-2-2-2 isn't out of the window. Yes, you'd have to drop quality. You'd have to drop probably over Gilmore, Pierre, Malou. But yeah, these options of playing two up front could be an option. Josh Sargent as well could also play on the right, maybe as an inverted winger. So yeah, lots of different options, and that's what's really exciting. I think the game against Liverpool is going to be important for us. They'll most probably play the under-23s, but let's see some of the fringe players that could prove themselves. It's not even fringe players. I think it's just seeing those players who are close to that starting XI, seeing what they can do. And I'm actually feeling quite positive for that Liverpool game.
That's what it's the opportunity for. It's putting their name on the team sheet for the next game. It's exactly what Brandon Williams did at Bournemouth. He came in, had a stellar game against Bournemouth, and got put in the team at the weekend. Same with Kenny McLean, had a brilliant performance against Bournemouth, got put in the team against Leicester at the weekend. And that's what it's going to be for players. And I think against Liverpool, no matter what team they'll put out in their under-18s, their under-12s, or their first team, players will still go out to prove themselves and prove why they're going to play the following weekend against Everton.
Definitely. So yeah, my best Norwich XI, we've got Tim Krul in goal, Max Aarons, Ben Gibson, Kabak, and Janulis. A 4-3-3. So we've got Norman in there, Billy Gilmore and Pierre Malou. On the right, Rashika. On the left, Yolis. And up front, Teemu Pukki. Duka, can you say your team again for me, please?
Yeah, so in goal, I've got Tim Krul. At right back, I've got Max Aarons. At centre half, I've got Grant Hanley and Ozan Kabak. At left back, I've got Dimitris Giannoulis. In the centre defensive midfield role, I've got Matthias Norman. The two centre midfielders playing off Matthias Norman are going to be Pierre Malou and Billy Gilmore. The two wingers are going to be Todd Cantwell and Milo Rashica, with up front being Josh Sargent leading the line.
That's very tasty, Dicker, and you can definitely smell Premier League survival and trips to Azerbaijan, as we said earlier on, in the future.
Trips to Europe.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that. That's the main bulk of the chat over. Thank you guys for all your suggestions and the comments. We've really enjoyed all the interaction. Just a few subtopics now before we kind of go on to Arsenal. Buendia, absolutely bizarre situation. This, right? Of course, for context, Brazil versus Argentina, of course, going on in the international break, and a few of the Premier League players, Buendia, Martinez, I think a couple of the Tottenham players come over, and turns out the Brazilian police come onto the pitch and kind of take them away. Absolutely bizarre position moment, Ducker. What did you make of all that Brazil-Argentina stuff?
Yeah, no, I was in the pub when it all happened, and I was looking at my phone. I was just so confused, and I saw on Twitter. I think this might be a lie, or might be a false rumor. That apparently, Emi Martinez told I think when he went into Brazil and told I think transport I don't know the border control people that Villa Park was in Estonia. And at the game against Brentford, we played at Villa Park in Estonia, I think it was. I just saw a tweet about it, and it was just absolutely bizarre. I don't think it was true, but at the same time, I don't know how the four, English-based Argentinian players managed to weave their way in through border control, and apparently locked themselves in the dressing room for a couple of hours before kickoff as well, and then 10 minutes the game's abandoned. And at the minute, I don't know what's going on, but apparently they're all getting deported. And yeah, no, it's all so strange. I don't really know what to think of it, but I think it's just it's a bizarre situation.
I think it's a really tough one, yeah, and as you say, it's an ongoing story. But yeah, absolutely crazy stuff. Of course, I've never seen anything like it. Kind of the police coming on the pitch and stopping such a high-profile game. You might see that in Estonia or whatever, but to see it in two of the biggest international teams, it's crazy.
Villa Park is apparently in Estonia, so
there you go.
Only Martin, I think, used to it.
That's what happened then. But yeah, really bizarre stuff there with the Buendia situation. But yeah, hopefully that puts him out maybe for a few weeks. Or do we have? We don't have Villa coming up, so maybe not. But yeah, hopefully that situation is all sorted. In terms of the internationals, God, I do hate the internationals. I can't lie to you, Dicker. Have they grown on you? Of course, England's success, has it grown on you in any way? Because when I'm watching England and Andorra, I just don't care.
Yeah, no, I didn't even watch it. If I'm honest with you, mate, I haven't watched any of the England games. It's kind of we're look, don't get me wrong. I'll follow Norwich home and away, and I'm one of the most passionate Norwich fans around. And when it comes to international football, I'm the most fair weather fan going. When it comes to an international tournament, I'm all for it. I'm there. I'm absolutely loving it, and stuff like that. But
yeah, me too.
International breaks, oh my lord. They just
Yeah.
drag and drag and drag. But the fact is, I feel like we've been in a 3-month international break. It's been a week.
Yeah.
I've still got 5 days left till Norwich again.
It's been tough. I think the only times I've really cared about the internationals is watching Teemu Pukki, and when Finland were close to qualification for the first time in the Euros ever. Just watching Teemu Pukki lead the line, score the goals to the end was absolutely fantastic. And I think that's the only time I've really cared. I mean, Norwich have had their moments, of course. Teemu Pukki, scoring against everyone pretty much to make his team qualify for the Euros. Kenny McLean had his moment scoring the penalty to send Scotland to the Euros. Couldn't have happened to a better team, of course. But no, not really too many moments. I think the only really topic of conversation to come out the internationals were from the young kids, Andrew Omobamidele, Adam Ida. Adam Ida put a man-the-match performance in his second game, and Omobamidele against Ronaldo, really impressive. I mean, what did you make of the kind of the international break, mate?
Well, like you're saying, on the whole, boring, lackluster. It just doesn't excite me. It doesn't excite me. You know what does excite me? The fact that Norwich are back this weekend. That's what excites me. The fact that we're going to be playing European football next season. That's what excites me. But the international break just doesn't. But like you say, Adam Ida and Andrew Omobamidele, the two Irish lads, the two young boys, the two academy products. Fair play to them. They both played very, very well. Andrew Omobamidele pocketed Ronaldo, pocketed Bruno Fernandes, and we're going to see him do it again twice this season. And Adam Ida putting a man of match performance. There's positives to take in terms of that. Fringe players are playing well. But as a whole, the international break is just get it over and done with now. Just get me to Arsenal away. Get me on the train at 8:30 in the morning having a beer. That's all I want right now.
Yeah, I completely echo those sentiments. It was really nice to see the youth academy players do well, and definitely puts food for thought. I mean, let's turn to Arsenal. Before we do, I've just seen a cracking comment here. Let's get it up. Buendia from Argentina. He's quarantining. It was just a lie. The game's aborted. He's been deported. They're going to take Miami away.
That is
brilliant stuff there. I'm not sure if you made that up. I think I might have seen that going around.
I saw that on Twitter. I think John Rogers put it on Twitter. I saw it earlier. I just think it's fantastic. I just keep seeing it in my head all day. It's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, and of course the hungry atmosphere was despicable. I think UEFA need to take some serious actions when you see that kind of behaviour in a football ground, and just in society as a whole. There's no place for it. Let's turn to Arsenal though, mate. What are we expecting? I mean, we've spoken about kind of the best XI. What kind of team are you expecting? I'm expecting Norman to come in. Just your general thoughts going into this game against Arsenal. It feels like our season starts now.
Yeah, and I think it really starts now. And I feel like it's make or break game. It really is. Arsenal.
This early?
This early. Arsenal. Look at the absolute state that Arsenal are in. They're a shambles of a football club. If we go lose to them now, I don't care if it's at the Emirates. I don't care if they've got Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, a pace merchant.
But would you not argue Aubameyang, Lacazette, Saka? They've still got some quality players in there. Yes, they're disjointed, but they've got individual quality in there.
Bukayo Saka hasn't scored a league goal for 7 months. Aubameyang hasn't been great. Lacazette, is he great? Look,
it's an opportunity, a real opportunity.
Really is. And the fact is, we've got to take this opportunity, because the fact is, on our day, we can play better than Arsenal, because Arsenal won't be great. We know they won't be great. And we can win. We can win. And we need to believe we can. And the fact is, we don't only have to scrape it 2-1 or 1-0. We could go out there and put out a statement to the league. We really could. Look, I don't like that. Look, I love the podcast Along Come Norwich. I love, what they do at Along Come Norwich. But I don't like the phrase Along Come Norwich, because it always does happen. But no. Look,
it's a really interesting point, that, actually, because I was listening to a conversation earlier, and when Norwich are in the Championship, particularly in the last few years, we have been like Man City. We play the best football. We are ruthless. We are aggressive in the Championship. We get into the faces of the refs. It feels like every time we play in the Championship, there's an arrogance, there's a ruthlessness to us. In the Premier League, I just want to see that again, and I hope this kind of new look system with so much transition at Norwich, with the players and with the style of play. I want to see a transition in their mentality as well, of really going out there and saying, you know what, this is Arsenal. They may have a 60,000 capacity stadium, but we are good enough to stay in the league and good enough to put a really good performance and beat them.
Well, Matthias Norman's going to be kicking some asses. That's what he wants, isn't it? He wants to kick ass, and he's going to. And look, these players like Matthias Norman that we've brought in, that install that bit of grit, that bit of determination, that bit of aggressiveness that we are really looking for. And Arteta is going to lose his job, and they're going to bring in another dead-end manager, and they're going to get relegated. Norwich are going to stay up and go to Europe. It's going to be great. But no, look, I need to stop going on about Norwich going to Europe. I'm getting really believe it now. It started as a joke, and I'm actually believing it. It's really bad. But no, look, it's an opportunity, and it's a really bit. You know me, I'm such an optimist when it comes to Norwich City. I always hope for the best and really rarely prepare for the worst. And sometimes we're downfall. But look, I'm just so confident. And look, we weren't great against Leicester, but we were better. But that was nowhere near our best. And the fact is, we almost...
And Leicester are better than Arsenal. Miles.
Leicester are a lot better than Arsenal. A lot better. There are 19 teams in this league that are better than Arsenal, and we're included. And I'm saying that with my chest. I don't think Arsenal... Look, they have the individual quality there, but the fact is, look, football isn't individuals. It's a team game, and as a team, Arsenal they're not going to click, are they? Arteta is an absolute fraud. The whole club's a state. I don't see how any way we can go out there and say, you know what, Arsenal are a really good team. They're a really good team. No, they've got good individuals that on their day could perform and give that moment of brilliance, but under a manager like Arteta, who's going to install little to no motivation and confidence to those players. Yeah, it's an opportunity, Lewis. It really is, and we've got to take it on Saturday. We really do.
I really like that, and I mentioned it earlier. That Norwich City need to install this belief that we're going to Arsenal and we're going to go there and put in a performance and win. And I can think of many performances in the past under Daniel Farke where we've come really close to getting something, and this is a better team. I agree with a lot of those comments as well. Arsenal have got lots of players with individual quality, and if they can find it, if they can click, they're going to be a good side. But they don't look like doing that at the moment. They look like a team full of individuals. They look disjointed. There's no backbone. Some of the transfer business, they spent 130 million, and that is very questionable in terms of the players they've brought in for that. It's a real opportunity. They look disjointed, and if Norwich City can be disciplined, play their football, there's a real opportunity. Where do you think the game's going to be won and lost in this game against Arsenal, Decker?
Midfield.
Yeah.
100%. I think.
What do Norwich need to do?
Start Matthias Norman. Simply start Matthias Norman. If we could play with the confidence and arrogance we did in the Championship, would be it. That was straight facts. Facts. And if Arsenal play really well as a team for the first time, would you still be annoyed if we drop points? Yes, I would. I'm always annoyed if we drop points, no matter who we play. I was annoyed after we lost 5-0 to Man City. Because football is football. You can win any game possible. If you lose a game, you're not going to go out of it and you're like, it's all right. We lost. No, I will still be annoyed. Yeah, I'll be like, hats off to Arsenal. They played really well. but I'm still pissed off we didn't pick up all 3 points, because that is football. You're out there to win, not to draw or lose. You know, we're not Tony Pulis, are we?
Or Chris Hughton.
Or Chris Hughton. Good point. Good shout that. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's all about Matthias Norman. I mean, there's so many hopes on him, and as a central defensive midfielder, he's someone we've been crying for, and his attributes is something which is going to be really important. And just, breaking up the play, being disciplined, defending well as a unit, and of course, going forward, playing that. I think the most important thing from a Norwich City perspective, and it may sound a little bit silly, is just play how they know they can, play with that fluidity, play with that confidence, treat them like a team that they are in complete disarray, and play with that confidence, and forget the name Arsenal. If you play with that confidence, that fluidity, the kind of the nice 1-2s in around the box, overlapping runs, and just properly go for it, I think that's where Norwich City will win this game. And yeah, Duka, how will Norwich win this game?
See, how will Norwich win this game? The Norwich players, they're going to imagine we're playing Rotherham United. We're in another soulless bowl. And I think it's Rotherham United. How will Norwich win this game? It's a good question. By scoring goals usually, but that's a bit of a classic.
You're going down the Michael Owen punditry.
Yeah, no. How will Norwich win this game? Like I said, in the midfield, I think it's going to be a huge battle. I think we're going to see Matthias Norman absolutely bully Martin Odegaard and Endel Smith-Rowe.
That'll be important as well in terms of Arsenal's individual quality is in those attacking areas. So getting Norman, getting tight to Odegaard, stopping them playing in that space, and I think we'll be all right.
But if we get Milo Rashica on the ball, things will happen.
Just drive. Take them on.
You know, Arsenal fans rant and rave about Kieran Tierney being, one of their better players. He's still a bit. He's a bit poor still. So I think the fact that everyone looking down on us and people thinking we're an easy win for Arsenal will show exactly. But the fact is, I think people are really. People are now starting to think, hang on, could Norwich get a result? Could they? Because Arsenal are in a worse state than us. They're bottom of the league. We're not somehow. I mean, I generally thought after
that one goal.
By one goal. I mean, how are we not bottom of the league, Lewis? I'm gobsmacked. And if you've got to admit though, there is a team lower than us in the league after the 3 games we've had.
I find it bonkers that we've both lost 5-0 to Man City, but both won 6-0 in the cup. I just think that's bonkers. I find
it bonkers that we've both lost 5-0 to City, yet Norwich City, a club who have just come up from the Championship, yet Arsenal, who are supposedly fighting for the Champions League, and apparently we lack sporting integrity.
There you go.
I have to bring that back up. It was 2 weeks ago, and I'm still bringing it back up.
I'm going to enjoy that quote coming up throughout the season. I saw a brilliant comment last week. I forget who said it, sorry, but someone said it along the lines of, Daniel Farke's got the ingredients, now he's got time to bake a cake, along those lines. I think there's a really great comment here, which is a nice one to end on. The time for simmering is over. Time to boil. I love that.
Cool, that gets me going.
That's really good. Yeah. Score prediction, Duka.
Oh, is it that time?
I'm putting it out there first. 2-1. Norwich score first through Rashica. He's going to have a man of the match performance. Arsenal are going to get a 70th minute goal from Aubameyang, and Pukki scores the winner for me. 2-1.
Okay. So I'm going to go for 3-0 Norwich, Lewis. I'm going to go
oh my God.
3-0 Norwich. And I'm saying this with my chest. I'm going with 3-0 Norwich.
Go for it.
Absolute disarray Arsenal are in. The defensive qualities are those of a Sunday League pub team at Arsenal. And, Milo Rashica is going to take full advantage of that as he's going to score a brace in this game. And he's going to show his quality to all Norwich fans. And do you know what? Off the bench, I think Pukki will start this game. I don't think Farke will drop him off the bench to score a 30-yard volley is Josh. What's going to happen is, Pablo Mario, one of their defenders, one of the Sunday League players, is going to header it and misjudge the header completely. He's going to fall to Joshy Sargent on the volley, and you watch it just go over Bernd Leno, who's off his line by a country mile because he doesn't really play goalkeeper. He's usually a striker for the pub team, but he's for Arsenal. He's signed, made a mistake, but here we are. And Josh Sargent scores, and it's 3-0, and we're all going home happy. DT and troops are crying. I'm blaming the weather. And Don Robbie's absolutely loving the money that he's getting in from that.
That's amazing. I love that. That's a kind of that's a perfect way to end it. God, Billy Gilmore brace. I'd love that, mate. I'd love that.
Imagine that. He'd love that as well, considering he's Chelsea as well. He'd
Yeah.
that. And I think he'd be up for this game as well. He'd be very
definitely. Yeah, a real opportunity, and I think Norwich. I think this could be a real statement of intent, and I think there's a real possibility we do well.
I only just spotted that comment. Need to start quick. Quell the crowd. That's yes.
Yeah, go at them. Why not? Why not?
From the off, absolutely. Get a minute. Get a goal in the first 30 seconds. Shouldn't be.
Yeah. Ducker, we've been going for an hour again. We seem to be doing these an hour long.
You messaged me today. I was like, yeah, we're going to do a bit shorter this time. It's now an hour. Christ. Oh, well.
Yeah, we did well. Well, thank you, everyone, for the comments and interaction. It's been great. We hope you've all enjoyed listening to our voices live, and obviously everyone on catch up. Thank you for watching. And yeah, we'll be back next week to talk about a 3-0 win over Arsenal, Ducker, and to see DT's tears and everything like that.
I really hope no one clips me predicting 3-0 and just gets it all over Twitter. I will really hate that. So please, yeah. But no, it's been great fun once again, Lewis. Really enjoy doing these every week, and I'm glad there's so many people in the comment section that are interacting and making my night after work a lot better and making me enjoy myself. And talking Norwich City is absolutely great, and I do really enjoy it.
Yeah, that's it, mate. I mean, no matter our ages and backgrounds, we just enjoy talking about Norwich, and it's going to be a fascinating season ahead. And Arsenal, we're both going to be there. Of course, Ducker, subscribe to Ducker's channel. The link will be in the description. He'll be doing a match day experience. I'll be doing a match day experience. And we're looking forward to documenting a lot of tears at the Emirates Stadium. Thank you for watching, guys. And yes, we'll see you later.